So let's get started with ownership. Why is ownership important? Okay, now before we get into this, I'll give you a couple of questions as a food for thought. Now, I own this pen. This pen belongs to me. Now I want to sell this pen to you. Can I sell? Yes, I can sell because this pen belongs to me. I have the right to sell it or to hold it. So I decide to sell it to you. You happen to purchase it. Now, after you purchase, the pen gets broken. You happen to drop it and it gets broken. Who do you think would be responsible in this case? Do I need to pay for that pen or it's your loss? Whose loss it is? That will be decided once it is known with whom the ownership lied, who had the ownership of the goods. Okay, I'll give you a second case. Now you come to me for purchasing this pen. We complete the contract of sale and you tell me I'll take this pen after 10 days because I'm going out on a vacation. So keep this pen till that time I return, and once I return, I'll take this pen from you. So while you are on your vacation, there's a fire broke out in my house and the pen got destroyed, it got burnt. Now whose liability is it? I'll give you a third example. Third question. Same case, you come to me for purchasing this pen, I tell you I'm selling this pen to you. So we get into a contract of sale of this pen. However, I tell you, I'll deliver this pen to you after 10 days because I've ordered a new pen. This is a display pen. I show it to my customers for taking orders. However, the packed piece is yet to come. So it will come in probably 10 days and then I'll deliver it to you. You say, okay. So after 10 days, the pen comes to me. But before delivery of the pen, it gets destroyed. Just as it arrives, the fire breaks out. Now whose responsibility is it? You'll be liable or I'll be liable. These all things will be sorted out once it is known whose ownership was on the pen, who had the title, who had the right over the pen. Once I decide who had the right, I can make out who had the risk, who had to bear the risk over the pen. So this picture will get cleared out once the ownership is known, who has the ownership. So after knowing the ownership, I can make out who bears the risk, and once I know who bears the risk, I can know whose liability is it. Okay, now let's see why is ownership important. First, to know the risk, I gave you the examples wherein the goods get destroyed. So if the goods get destroyed, whose liability is it? To find out, we need to know whose ownership it is. Okay. Can the seller claim the price? Now, let's say I own this pen, I sell this pen to you. We enter into a contract of sale. But this pen is with me. I do not deliver the pen. And fire breaks out. This pen gets destroyed. Can I recover the price from you? I don't know. We enter into a contract of sale. You get the delivery of the pen, and then fire breaks out in your house and the pen gets destroyed. But you haven't paid the price to me. Can I recover the price? It all depends as to who had the ownership of the pen. So, knowing who has the ownership is the answer to most of the questions related to goods. So, this is the importance of ownership. Once you know who has the ownership, all the other questions get answered. So, if the seller can recover the price, that depends on the ownership. Let's say I sell this pen to you for rupees 100, and after selling the pen to you, after giving the pen to you, delivering the pen to you, you declare insolvency. Now, can I recover price? Can I ask the pen back? What are the remedies that are available to me that will be decided on the basis of the ownership as to who has the ownership at that point? So we'll study that also. Action against third party. Now let's say I sold this pen to you and you in turn sold this to some third party. However, you haven't paid the price of the pen to you, to me. At the same time, the third party, you are not paying the price, you declare insolvency. Can I recover the price from the third party? Do I have a right on him? I don't know. These questions will get answered once I know the ownership. Who has the ownership? Let's say I did not sell it to you, I just gave the pen to you, probably on sale or return basis, and you you give it to some third party. In the meantime, you declare insolvency. Can I claim the price of the pen from you, or can I claim the goods back because there was no sale? All these questions, these are some questions which we normally see in the practical life, but the answer lies in the ownership. Who has the ownership? Has the sale contract been made, or it was just delivered without the actual sale? I just had given it to you, or did I actually sell the goods to you? The answer depends on the ownership. And finally, insolvency of the buyer. I have already discussed. What happens in case of insolvency of the buyer? Who bears the loss? Does the seller have the right to take the goods back? Does the seller have the right to ask for the money for the price of the goods if the price has not been paid? See, if the price has been paid, the seller is not concerned about buyer's insolvency. The buyer's insolvency becomes a problem when the seller has not been paid. He remains an unpaid seller. The price of the goods has not been paid to the seller. Okay? So, in such cases, what are the remedies with the seller? That we study. So, such is the importance of ownership. All these things depend upon ownership. Who has the ownership? Now, if the seller has the ownership, the picture becomes different. Now, if the buyer has the ownership, the remedies of both of the parties, the relation between them becomes different. So, the answer to all these questions is ownership.